What's up, guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today, I've got a meta team build for you. So this is a team I've been working on for a while. It's pretty much the team I plan to use at any upcoming competitive events. Now, whether or not I can actually go to any of those, I don't know. But I just want to share this team with you guys because I think it's pretty great. And I just wanted to also point out one thing I think is going to be pretty big in the meta right now is Kong at 200 points. If you have the Gaia avatar, make him the avatar of Gaia, so she heals him every turn basically. And I've also seen a lot of people teaming him up with just Beetlejuice, just 100, 200, shut off all their free actions and everything, although it does shut off your own free actions, so that can kind of suck. But anyway, yeah, it's a pretty formidable team, just that. But I've also seen some people have a lot of success with just 300 point Kong and Gaia, because again, super hard to get through his super long dial with all those stop clicks when he's healing every turn from her. And on top of that, we have the heart-shaped herb. He can just carry that around and be healing and stuff. So yeah, pretty nasty teams there. Very simple teams with, revolving around Kong. So I wanted to make sure I at least could be able to take down a Kong, right? That was my main focus, building this team. And while admittedly it is a little bit weak going second against Kong, Kong definitely always has a chance of winning anything at this point. I think it actually stands a very good chance of winning going first. And even, second, it still has a chance. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to the team. So our main headline attacker here is going to be Hadari Yao, the new chase from Black Panther. Ever since I pulled her in my unboxing, I've been doing a lot of team building with her. I tested her out a few times. She is really great. I love her sculpt. It's amazing. And her power set is even better. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'll just go over her quickly here. She does have leadership, and as long as there are 4 or more friendly characters without the deity keyword on your force, Hadari Yao takes a maximum of 2 damage from attacks. We have quite a few characters on this team, so it should be pretty easy to keep ourselves at 4 or more, making her be able to tank a lot of hits, which is great because your opponent might try to just deal with all your other characters and just leave her alone altogether to just rampage through their team, because as you can see, she has some pretty amazing stats. We are playing her at the full 100 points. She's Power Cosmic and Wakanda, so she got Stealth and willpower and everything, protected outwit, that's all amazing. 10 movement running shot with flight, 6 range triple target. Improved movement for characters is really nice, so you don't get held up by people. She can running shot away and shoot somebody else if she wants to. 12 penetrating blast, 19 super senses, 4 damage, great stats and powers there. She also has safeguard, opposing, perplex, and prob, which again is just really useful. They can't prob her hits. And when she attacks targeted characters without the deity keyword, modify defense -1. It kind of sucks that Kong actually has deity, so he won't get -1, but anybody else that's not deity will, so that is very useful. And her main trick here is her damage power, where she gets improved targeting for characters, elevation, and hindering, so she can see through everything but blocking. And then when she hits multiple characters with a range attack that deals damage, characters dealt less than 3 damage are dealt 3 damage instead. So that is amazing. That got errated to say hit characters dealt less than 3 damage, so she does have to hit, but she can essentially pour all of her damage into one character and then, still hit the other 2 characters she targeted for 3 damage. So just without any assistance, 4 penetrating and then 3 and 3 on 2 other characters, she can deal 10 penetrating damage a turn by herself, which is pretty nasty. And until Collector's Trove releases, I'm going to be equipping her with the trick arrows. Once we do get Collector's Trove released, I would probably switch this out for the universal weapon, but I'm still going to have this on the team. Now, if you guys don't know what the trick arrows do, honestly, there's just way too much to go over right now. I do have 3 of every arrow, though. Yes, you can use multiples of each individual arrow, and essentially you just equip this. You choose 3 arrows at the beginning of the game. Some of the main arrows, just keeping in mind, we're probably going to face a lot of Kongs and stuff. The stun arrow is really good. Choose a hit character and they can't use speed or attack powers till your next turn. So no charge, no quake, no super strength, stuff like that. Really slows down Kong, which is really nice. And especially the nth metal arrow, choose a hit character till your next turn. They can't use team abilities or stop, so you can just shoot right through all of his stop clicks. And of course, there's other great arrows like the big arrow and the too dangerous arrow to hit big groups of enemies, which is great if we find ourselves against some other teams. But anyway, yeah, so Hadari Yao with the trick arrows, pretty nasty, very powerful range attacker. Our secondary attacker is going to be none other than the Prime Blue Beetle from Masters of Time. I really had to go out of my way to pick this guy up recently because he is just so good. So taking a look at his card here, he starts with this trait that says free, choose an opposing character within range and line of fire, and a standard power. That character can't use the chosen power until Blue Beetle chooses again. Now, it is a free action, so if they have Beetlejuice on the main force, we will have to do a little work to get rid of that Beetlejuice first, but don't worry, I have a plan for that. And then, you can just use this to turn off Kong's charge or his impervious or whatever you need to stop him from doing. And yeah, really, really powerful. And even besides Kong, any other power cosmic characters or anything, this is essentially a not outwit, right? It gets around all that protected outwit stuff. And it's just a really, really powerful effect. So it's nice to have. I'm also playing him at the full 75 point line. He's got 6 range, double target, flight, running shot, 11 attack, 19 invulnerable, and 4 damage with some prob, which is great. Take a look at the back of his card here. He's got another trait, which is range. So it's a range action. Make a range attack targeting a single character with a point value equal to or less than Blue Beetle's point value. If he hits, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled or replaced. On a 1 through 4, damage from this attack is penetrating, and after resolutions, give a hit character an action token. And on a 5 or 6, instead of normal damage, remove the hit character from the game, and of course, characters removed from the game are scored. So yeah, pretty awesome effect. Now, this is not really why he's here at all. It's kind of just a cool power to have, just to be able to delete things with one shot. But we do have a lot of ways around stop clicks, so, even if they play like a 50-point Kong, you could use that effect against him potentially, or you could just hit him with, the no stops arrow or something. So it's kind of whatever. He's mainly just here for that other trait, but he also has this really cool special attack power, which is free. Choose a standard attack power, and you can use that power until your next turn. So pick a power, always good. Again, free actions kind of suck, so we have to get rid of our opponent's Beetlejuices first. But yeah, he's mainly just here for that threat neutralization trait and being a solid attacker on top of it, like a secondary attacker. And I want to point out again that when Collector's Trove releases, I'm probably going to give her Universal Weapon, which means this is going to go over to him instead, because we still want to keep the arrows on the team because it is so good. But just until the actual release of that, this is what we're going with. So we got 2 really powerful attackers on our team. So we got a lot of good support characters to help support them. Number 1 here being the Legacy Black Panther. Again, I was super lucky to pull this Legacy card, and I just happen to have this guy already in my collection still. So, that was nice. But this guy is very useful at the moment for the trait here that at the beginning of the game, you can choose up to 2 game elements on your opponent's sideline, and game elements chosen for this trait can't be brought into the game or use sideline active effects. Now, there is a bunch of rulings as to why this doesn't really work against like some of the avatars and stuff, so don't waste it trying to choose an avatar. This is specifically here to shut down a Beetlejuice on the opponent's sideline, so they can't bring in a Beetlejuice at all, hopefully. But besides that, it's just here to also shut down any like really powerful butterfly swap-in options. And, when the one-shot cards get released, that'll also be a good use to have him here to block some one-shot effects. He also has leadership and outwit, and free remove any 1 vibranium token from your sideline. If you do, remove an action token from a friendly character. So just map-wide token removal is nice. However, we don't really have a way of generating vibranium. I really wish he generated vibranium either by his leadership or just, start the game with 2 like a lot of the other characters do. I feel like that was one major oversight for this guy. You have to have something else on the team that gives you that vibranium. Otherwise, that's kind of, worthless. But still, another leadership and an outwit for 30 points, not bad. And you're blocking off 2 sideline options for your opponent. All right, but next up, we have the Clixie Award-winning best support character in the game. And I don't blame them. I'm pretty sure I voted for him also. Per Degaton from Masters of Time. This dude is absolutely crazy. How much he can do for 20 points is unreal. So let's check him out. Like I said, we're just playing him at 20 points. So we're not really doing anything here to try and get him more life or whatever. We just need the 20 points. Just for the TK. He's just here for a 20-point TK. As well as, some of the other stuff you can do. So, you got 6 range, double target, sidestep flight. The TK is the main reason he's here. Another form of leadership, just in case. And he can, like move through and see through a bunch of stuff. And we don't really care about this trait because we're just playing him at 20 points. But he has these other traits that during game setup, after your opponent has placed their characters, you may choose an opposing opposing figure and place it into any other square in its starting area. So you get to mess up your opponent's starting area and starting positioning, which is really strong to, kind of throw them off their game. They have to waste some time repositioning, optimally to get their team to do what they want it to do. And then he's got this other trait, which is just probability control. And when an opposing character misses per degaton or rolls a 1 or 2 for his team ability after resolutions, deal them a penetrating damage, protected pulse wave. So that also works if he hits his super senses. They miss him, they take a penetrating damage. And if you take a look at the hyper time team ability there, you can see whenever an opposing character that can't use this team ability attempts to move from a non-adjacent square to an adjacent square, they roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, they can't move into any square adjacent to this character this turn. So it's really cool. Gives him some protection from like close attackers and stuff. And yeah, he's just all around does so much for 20 points, messing with your opponent's positioning, prob that can see through characters with a 6 range, TK, leadership, and he's a wild card, so he can copy like a good team ability or something on top of that. So yeah, he does a lot. He's very powerful. But next up, we've got the Chase Green Man from Masters of Time. Again, just a very powerful support piece. Taking a look at what he can do here. In case you don't know, he is power cosmic, so that's nice. So the special attack and special defense powers do not really matter right now because we're just playing him for 30 points. But he's still got some running shot, 11 attack pulse wave, 18 with some barrier, and a really powerful damage power. Which is enhancement and outwit. And once per game, when an adjacent friendly character hits, you may choose that hit characters can't use stop this attack. And adjacent friendly characters modify range +1 and have improved targeting for elevation. So yeah, this dude's nuts. He really buffs up our range attackers here, especially Blue Beetle, letting him see through elevation since she already does. But that once per game, ignoring stop is great, so you maybe don't have to use the arrow for it, but you have both options there. Plus he's upping their range +1 and, enhancement for their damage. It's just all around really strong. He's got outwit if, we can get to a good point to use it. Running shot pulse wave makes him a decent little follow-up attacker and everything. So yeah, all around great character. And to build upon that even, I also am lucky enough to have a Weasel Pog. I know this thing is stupid expensive. With how rare it is and what it does, there is a reason for it. But if you guys don't have this, obviously, I don't blame you. There are some other things you can kind of, fill the points with if you don't have this. Like if you have the 4-point Scott Crampton Pog, that just has enhancement, that's pretty good too. And even besides that, we have like a 15-point enhancement now with the Hatut Zarazis in the Black Panther set. So, we can kind of cut 5 points somewhere and throw one of those on for another enhancement if you need it. Besides that, he also has a unique modifier that adjacent friendly characters modify attack and range +1. So that is really, the main reason this guy is here. He's giving us range, attack, and damage +1 for our range attackers here, which is just huge, honestly. I'll show you guys more at the end, but both of these characters can very easily reach across the entire map with these range buffs. Now, last but not least, we've also got a couple of time breakers here. They're just 5 points. We do actually have a few extra points remaining, so you can play more of these if you wanted to, or like I said, you could swap this guy out for a different enhancement or something. But I think it's important to have at least 2. I think you want at least 2 of these time breakers. And of course, if you don't know, they just have free. If another friendly character has not activated this trait this turn, generate another time breaker on click number 1. They only have 1 click. They're only 5 points. They're autonomous, sidestep, and mainly they have that power action to choose an adjacent character, place that character up to X squares away from their current square, where X is the number of time breakers adjacent to that character. So yeah, they're just another placement effect. And that's really all they're there for, besides the fact that they're just more bodies for our team, right? Because she wants at least 4 characters on the map so that she takes a maximum of 2 damage from our opponent's attacks. And the fact that these guys can just take a free action to spit more of them out and just generate more and more and more, we can keep our character count higher. So I think that is really nice. However, this is kind of rolling back to what I said about, this team is definitely a lot better going first than second against the Kong, because 200 or 300 point Kong could come across the map and kind of quake the whole team and just kind of wipe out like most of these characters in one quake, because he does 3 damage with his quake. So wipe out all our time breakers, Perdegaton, our Weasel, and our Green Man. It's kind of something you just have to be aware of and, you know, try to plan for, try to position yourself where hopefully that's not going to happen. So at this point, we're at like 285 points. Like I said, we have a little bit of playroom here. And it's again why I said, really, I built this team in mind to put the trick arrows on Blue Beetle, put the universal weapon on Hadari Yao here. And I have mentioned that a few times. If you don't know what that does, it just lets you pick an attack power at the beginning of your turn, every turn. So we want to give her like Pulse Wave, so she can Pulse Wave everybody for 3, or you could pick Energy Explosion, Precision Strike, whatever really is useful at the time. But I think that's going to be really good on her, and then he can still make very good use of the trick arrows. And then we have 5 points left, which we're going to play the Rivalry one-shot card, you guys. Instant free hit on anything that shares a keyword. It's actually going to be really nice to help take down a Kong with like a 20 defense, because that'll make it a lot easier to hit. But like I said, until Collector's Trove releases, we've got this on her, and we've got 15 free points around here. So like I said, you could play a few more time breakers if you want to. You could put a motorcycle on Black Panther to give him some charge and super senses, so he's a little bit more of an actual threat and a little bit better defended from the senses. If you don't have a Weasel Pog, like I said, you could drop that, you know, get some higher point characters in here that also kind of serve your needs as like another enhancement, because we do want enough enhancement to be able to essentially one-shot a Beetlejuice. We have to hit Beetlejuice for like 7 damage if we want to one-shot him, which is very easy to do with Hadari or Blue Beetle. We've got a couple enhancements, actually, which that brings me to a couple things on the sideline as well. Of course, we got to have Chthon on the sideline. They're both mystical, so you can put it on whoever you want. Personally, I'm putting it on Hadari for now. That might change later, but the +1 all stats is just so good. And, you know, yeah, she takes a click of damage for, you know, getting an action token here and there. But with the amount of damage she can deal in a turn, I think the trade-off is there. You know, it definitely helps out the range, attack, defense, everything helps buff her so much. So yeah, I think it's worth it. Plus, hey, if she has the universal weapon, she could pick Steel Energy and punch somebody to heal a click back if she needed to. And then we also have Khonshu, of course, on our sideline here. That's because our Green Man here has the Herald keyword, so he can get an avatar for free. So yeah, if you guys don't know what they do, I'll just go ahead and throw their cards up on screen here. Just using both these sideline active effects. So we get Stealth and Prob on our Green Man, which I think is super useful. That way, you know, he's got some stealth to help keep him safe, and he's got prob and outwit and enhancement. He just becomes a crazy powerful support character. And like I said, the +1 all stats for our Hadari, even taking the unavoidable, I think is worth it. And then there's just kind of the back of their cards there. Yeah, if Hadari's KO'd, then, you know, we're pretty much losing anyway, but we can spit out the Chthon and maybe have another shot at finishing off the last character or something. So yeah, that's basically the sideline. And one other thing I want to put on the sideline is, of course, Beetlejuice himself, right? Why not? We've got enough time breakers here that, you know, they're autonomous, so they can all just take a power action without wasting all of our actions. So we can spit out a Beetlejuice here. I'll let you guys read his trait if you don't know what he does. It's pretty awesome. You know, you just get a free character out there. He shuts off all the free actions and all that. So if you haven't heard about him, he's really, really good. I definitely recommend picking up that iconic set. So yeah, just a really powerful figure overall to throw on the sideline. Why not? Since we have the space for it and it's free. And like I said, it actually is a really great combo with these guys not, you know, counting against your action total, because if you get 3 of them out here, you can take just 3 power actions to bring him out and not use any of your actions for the turn. So then he can immediately do something, and if you want to, you can just, you know, put him back on your sideline at the end of the turn. Or you can leave him out there. You know, he counts as another character for Hadari, and it slows down their free actions and all that stuff. So that's great. And yeah, that's pretty much the team. Like I said, I really built this with Collector's Trove in mind, to give her universal weapon and have that rivalry card on the sideline. And like I said, the extra 15 points you can kind of fill however you want. Give him a motorcycle, you know, play a different character or something. A Wakanda Scientist is another one you could definitely throw on here. It's another outwit, only 15 points, but she can carry around a Wakanda scientist, and that way every time she hits, the Wakanda scientist will actually give you a vibranium, which will fuel his thing to take tokens off. So I think that is a pretty great use of the 15 points as well. But besides that, let me just quickly move these guys and show you kind of the main strategy here. All right, so the basic strategy here, assuming we're going first, hopefully, fingers crossed, right? We will just be carrying Weasel with our green man here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to go the full 6 squares. You can put them up front or behind. Doesn't really matter as long as they're both kind of in that 6 square. And then because our Hadari has Chthon, she will have +1 all stats. So she can already running shot 10, which means 5 squares. But you always replace then modify. Don't forget. So it'd cut it in half to 5 and then add 1 to be 6. So she can running shot 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want her up here at least 6 squares out, adjacent to both our green man and our Weasel, because now she has a natural printed 6 range, but we have +1 range from Weasel, and we got +1 range from our green man there. So again, like I said, if you swap out Weasel, another enhancement's great, but you also might want to find somebody that has like shield team ability or something to, maybe she can carry somebody with it or something. Like Everett Ross is actually a really, really strong choice for that. But anyway, with the +1 range here, +1 range here, and +1 from Chthon, she's at 9 range, which I know you can't see the rest of the map, but I promise that is right at your opponent's starting area, because moving 6 squares from yours, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're in square 7, shooting 9. That's 16 squares. The maps now are 16 by 16. So yeah, she's going to be able to hit all the way across the map. She can see through everything but blocking. You can turn off stop clicks with him. She can target 3 people. You got 2 enhancements and +1 from Chthon, so she can send 7 penetrating damage on 1 character, hit 2 other characters, and hit them for 3 penetrating on top of it. So that's like 13 penetrating damage she can send out in a turn. If she has the arrows, she can hit somebody with a stun arrow like Kong or something to slow him down. If you got the universal weapon, you might just want to choose like precision strike or something to help get through like super senses or whatever. So she can just vaporize something instantly, like say Beetlejuice, get rid of him so we get our free actions back. Because running shot, you can just take a basic vanilla range attack. You don't have to take an action. The only thing you have to take a free action for with the running shot is if you want to use a range action as free, so like pulse wave or energy explosion or something, but you can just shoot, just use your normal stats and damage and everything. So yeah, she can vaporize a Beetlejuice or really most other things. And then we have a follow-up here. You can take a power action from our time breakers, which can place them 2 out. And then you can, even without having free actions, if we somehow still are shutting off our free actions, this guy here has 6 range and TK. And then this guy here can TK our Blue Beetle even further. He's got 6 range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he can TK him this far, so long as he can't be placed more than 4 squares away from the TK, but if we, place him here from these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, there you go. Easy peasy. Assuming this is not blocking terrain, obviously, for the purposes of this demonstration, we can get him adjacent to our green man and our Weasel, again, upping his range +2. So he has 6, that'll give him an 8 range, which won't quite make it all the way across the map, unless you're shooting something that's a colossal 2x2 like Kong, because he'll be a square further, so 8 range will be able to see him. So from there, he can actually shoot a Kong. And the cool thing about this is if they're not shutting off your free actions, you can definitely get all the way across that way, because you could actually generate another time breaker for free. You could place him 3 squares. This dude could sidestep, TK him another 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Assuming you carried and placed Weasel in front. Then he can definitely see 8 squares across the map like that. Easy peasy. But anyway, yeah, just either way, you get him up next to them, he can see across the map basically and shoot stuff and do a lot more damage and, turn off any power you want. Like, say Kong's impervious or something, so he can blast him for 7 damage and turn off his stop clicks, and then he's really injured and everything. So yeah, pretty awesome. And then if Hadari didn't shoot somebody else, she could finish him off, whatever. I don't know. There's there's a lot of different situations that could happen there, but it's a very powerful team. You can really just nuke an opponent's team off the face of the earth with these characters. Pretty simple, I think. Now, defensively, like I said, this team is a little weaker defensively. We do still have some options, though. One thing, like I said, we do have some extra points. You could add on this traffic barrel. So you could put that out here somewhere and kind of stop their improved movement. So maybe they can't get through as much stuff. That's an option. Ideally, you know, you'll have some blocking terrain or something. You do have a barrier from Green Man, so he can barrier up. The cool thing is, if your opponent is playing a Beetlejuice, then their Kong also can't take free actions, so he can't really charge Quake you, which is kind of nice. Or, like I said, you could take some power actions to make your own Beetlejuice, right? And that stops them from being able to, like, charge Quake or Running Shot Energy Explosion, and just kind of limits their options. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, this team doesn't really need the free actions with the running shots. We can do just enough damage normally. And there's a lot of cool stuff we can do when we have free actions, but we don't really necessarily need them. So yeah, going second, like I said, you want to just pick a map that's a little bit more blocking in the way, barrier up with your Green Man. You can, like I said, spit out Beetlejuice if you think that'll help you. And that's kind of, you know, just maybe separate so you're not like all too bunched together, but in a way that you can still do your TKs and stuff like that to get across the map how you need to. And I think it's a really solid team. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. I'd always love to talk about that with you guys there. If there's anything you think you would change or do differently, let me know. Is this a team that you might think about seriously trying out? If you do, I'd love to hear about how it went for you and everything. Anyway, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But if you'd like to help support the channel even more, you can check the links in the description below and join the Patreon down there, as well as hit that join button for the YouTube memberships. Either way, as little as $1 a month gets you entered into my monthly giveaways, so check that out if that interests you. But that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.